Left with nothing, Ex-CBC host fights back after explosive exit and looming legal battle. The shocking exit of Travis Donraj from CBC has ignited a firestorm in Canadian media circles. Since Mark Carney replaced Justin Trudeau as Prime Minister following the snap federal election on April 28, 2025, the spotlight has increasingly focused on issues of media bias, editorial independence, and freedom of speech in publicly funded institutions. Donraj's story is far more than a personal dispute. It's a window into a deep struggle over how Canadian news is shaped, who controls the narrative, and what voices are allowed to be heard. Donraj alleges that his departure from CBC was anything but voluntary. According to him, after years of raising serious concerns about the broadcaster's editorial practices, particularly around suppressing conservative voices and failing to represent a true diversity of political opinion, he was effectively pushed out. His attempts to bring more balanced political commentary to his primetime show, Canada Tonight with Travis Donraj, were reportedly met with resistance and roadblocks from senior management, leaving him isolated and silenced. The crux of Donraj's claim centers on systemic editorial bias. He contends that CBC leadership has created a closed system where certain viewpoints, especially conservative ones, are marginalized. He described a performative diversity, where token voices are elevated for appearances, while genuine political plurality is denied. The internal mechanisms of booking guests and shaping editorial content, Donraj says, were weaponized to exclude dissenting opinions, favoring a small elite group of Ottawa insiders who align with a narrow political agenda. Donraj's lawyer, Catherine Marshall, has made it clear that legal action is forthcoming. She confirmed that Donraj intends to sue CBC for constructive dismissal, a legal term that applies when an employer makes the working environment so intolerable that an employee has no choice but to resign. This case will argue that CBC's internal practices amounted to a hostile workplace designed to force Donraj's exit without severance. There are also whispers of potential claims before the Human Rights Tribunal, though those details remain less clear. In response, CBC has staunchly denied any wrongdoing, defending its editorial integrity and dismissing Donraj's allegations as attacks on the broadcaster's reputation. The organization points to confidentiality restrictions that prevent it from commenting fully, but the controversy has only deepened public skepticism about CBC's neutrality. Many Canadians already perceive the broadcaster as favoring the Liberal Party, and this perception has been sharpened by recent political developments, including increased Liberal funding for CBC alongside Conservative promises to reduce public media budgets. What stands out amid the uproar is the notably subdued response from other major media outlets like CTV and Global. Despite their own reputations for ideological leanings and reliance on federal funding, these networks have largely refrained from digging into Donraj's allegations with any depth. Their minimal reporting contrasts sharply with the more robust coverage from outlets like the Toronto Sun and the National Post. The reluctance among mainstream media to investigate or critique one of their own points to a troubling lack of transparency and accountability within Canada's media ecosystem. This situation raises profound questions about the role of journalism in a democracy. If media institutions are expected to hold governments accountable, shouldn't they also scrutinize their own potential biases and structural weaknesses? The apparent silence from several mainstream players risks creating informational blind spots that leave many Canadians uninformed about critical issues and scandals. Such gaps can distort public understanding and undermine trust in news institutions. Following his departure, Donraj launched an independent news platform, signaling his resolve to continue delivering political commentary free from what he describes as CBC's restrictive environment. In a moving message to his followers, he reflected on the personal toll of his battle, describing how his career and livelihood were deeply affected by his stand for editorial diversity. Despite feeling crushed, he remains undeterred, committed to unveiling the realities behind the CBC's walls and championing journalistic freedom. Donraj's experience resonates widely with Canadians frustrated by what they see as a lack of true diversity in public discourse. It highlights the often overlooked struggles journalists face when confronting entrenched power structures and the delicate balance between editorial control and political influence in publicly funded media. His story has become a rallying cry for those demanding greater openness and pluralism in Canada's media landscape. The broader implications of this controversy cannot be overstated. Canadians deserve transparency and balanced reporting that reflect the full spectrum of political opinion, not a curated narrative favoring specific interests. When media outlets silence dissent and avoid hard truths, democracy suffers. Trust erodes, voters are misled, and the political process is compromised. Some observers suggest that such media dynamics have influenced recent electoral outcomes, including Carney's minority government, where information gaps may have shaped voter perceptions. This unfolding drama forces Canadians to reconsider the future of public media funding and governance. How can institutions like CBC maintain editorial independence while remaining accountable? What role should government play in ensuring media pluralism without exerting undue influence? These questions have become central to political debate, with figures like Pierre Poilievre and other conservative critics using Donraj's case to underscore the need for reform and increased oversight. As the legal battle and public debate continue, all eyes are on how Canada's media institutions respond. Will they embrace calls for transparency and meaningful reform? Or will they further entrench the divisions and mistrust that currently plague public discourse? For Travis Donraj, this fight is deeply personal, but it also symbolizes a larger struggle for media integrity and the protection of free expression in an increasingly polarized political environment. Ultimately, this controversy challenges Canadians to demand accountability not only from politicians, but also from the media entities entrusted with informing the public. Protecting journalistic freedom and encouraging a diverse, vibrant media ecosystem are essential to the health of Canada's democracy. The story of Travis Donraj is a powerful reminder that the battle for truth and representation in media is far from over, and that the public's right to know must remain paramount.